All right, I want to warn you folks that have appreciated President Trump in the past and still appreciate him right now, that you might not want to listen to this video. And no, I am not jumping on the hate Trump bandwagon, because I still love the man and I'm very thankful for what that man did for our country during the tenure in which he served as president. But I do need to bring up a couple of things that really actually are way bigger than Trump ever will be. And this is very important because it relates to God's relationship to this nation. And I think it's very important. And before I share the story that I'm particularly disturbed by and that I'm absolutely disappointed to the point where I don't think I can support it, not even close. Matter of fact, I know I can't support it. Let me bring up a basic principle about how God typically judges a nation. The way it works, and we know this from the biblical patterns that have been established with Israel and many other patterns that we've seen throughout the course of what the Bible tells us, is a nation will be confronted with the opportunity to sin. When they choose to embrace that sin, the way that God judges that nation is he allows them to have that sin. He allows them to carry it to the place that will bring them to the place of destruction, because he sends people to warn them amply. He says, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And the people yet still choose to go ahead and do it. And their decision to do it and bring harm to themselves is judgment in and of itself. And thus God allows it to happen, to be played out to its fullest place. And yet, even in God's grace, he still intervenes sometimes and he saves people. But the reality of it is, the judgment that the United States of America right now is experiencing is a direct result not of a weird election or any of the other things that people are saying. It is a direct result of a nation's decision to completely disobey God. It's the result of a nation's decision to violate the very principles that God has laid out for us, and we are experiencing the consequences of such actions. I'm looking at a title right now that says, Trump hosts gala for homosexual Republicans at Mar-a-Lago after Biden signs same-sex marriage law. Now, I'm not going to read the whole article to you. I will read a few quotes that the president gave. Actually, all I need to do is read one quote, and the quote is this: "We are fighting for the gay community, and we are fighting and fighting hard." Folks, that's what he is saying. So in other words, let me give you the translation. I am fighting for you to fulfill the lust of your flesh, and I am fighting hard. Can anybody be surprised that God is judging the United States of America? We should expect judgment to come upon the United States of America, because the completely insatiable bloodlust for sin is not being quelled by men of God who will stand up and say enough is enough. That is the terrible part of what we are watching today. And for those of you who might say that we're going to make some exceptions so that we can get the better political good, repent. Repent, because the Bible tells us not to be tolerant of any sin. It's a really simple thing. And it's time we start thinking about that. We need to call people into account who choose to allow themselves to become embracers of sin, because that's what opens up the nation for judgment. It's plain and simple, folks. You can call this a rant, whatever you want to call it, but that's exactly what's going on here. It's time to wake up. God's judgment is not coming. It's already here.